Recovering from a stroke changes more than movement, speech, or stamina. It reshapes identity, daily routines, and the ways partners connect. Intimacy, both emotional and sexual, often becomes the quiet corner of recovery that no one knows how to approach. Many people, perhaps like Michel and his wife, Sarah, look for answers in every direction: miracle herb testimonials, friends' tips, late-night ads for supplements that promise to restore virility, or blogs that suggest certain foods can balance hormones. Hope is human, but for someone rebuilding life after a stroke, and usually taking several prescription medications, the central question isn't, does it sound natural? Or, did it help someone online? The central question is it safe for me? This guide aims to be your steady voice amid the noise. You'll find no fearmongering and no false promises, just clear, compassionate, science-aware explanations and practical steps you can take with your healthcare team and your partner. You'll see what we understand about a few commonly discussed compounds, why caution is essential for stroke survivors, and how couples like Michel and Sarah can rebuild closeness, often in ways that feel deeper and more secure than before. Safety first. Never start any herbal remedy or dietary supplement without discussing it with the clinician who manages your stroke care. Supplements can interact with prescription medications in ways that increase bleeding risk, alter blood pressure, or cause other serious problems. Your medical team knows your history, let them guide you. Part 1. The emotional landscape after stroke, Michel and Sarah. Michel and Sarah didn't expect intimacy to be the hardest part. They were prepared for rehab appointments, pill organizers, and early bedtimes. What surprised them was how quiet everything became around touch and desire. Sarah worried about hurting him. Michel worried about disappointing her. Both wondered if the other had lost interest. The distance wasn't a choice, it was confusion, fear, and fatigue doing what they do best: take up space. A stroke can influence sexual function through multiple pathways at once: physical, weakness, spasticity, changes in sensation, pain, medication side effects, and overall endurance; neurological, altered arousal patterns, delayed or dampened sexual response, or difficulty coordinating movements; psychological, fear of another medical event, anxiety about performance, grief for the old normal, or depression. Seeing these factors as medical and neurological, not moral, not personal, helps couples step out of blame. Michel's fatigue, for example, didn't mean he found Sarah less attractive. It meant his energy peaks were short, his medications were new, and his brain and body were still recalibrating. What partners can do, and avoid. Do suggest warm, non-pressured forms of closeness. Holding hands while watching TV. A 3-minute back rub after dinner, or a slow hug in the kitchen. These small rituals send a powerful message: we're still us. Do listen with curiosity. What feels comfortable tonight? Carries a different energy from, are you ready yet? Do pace intimacy with the recovery day. After PT or a neurologist visit. Save big intimacy goals for another time. Don't pretend everything is fine if you're worried. Silence breeds stories. Stories usually assume the worst. Don't make desire a test of love or recovery. Attraction can coexist with fatigue, pain, or uncertainty. A simple talk track when words feel hard. Try a 3-step, no blame framework. I feel, name the emotion. I feel lonely and a little anxious about our closeness. When, describe the observable situation. When we go to bed without cuddling. Could we ask for one simple, doable step? Could we spend 10 minutes holding each other before lights out? Michel and Sarah found that this formula turned defensiveness into collaboration. They weren't debating whose needs mattered more, they were designing connection together. Part 2. Supplements and herbs. What sounds promising versus what's safe. When intimacy stutters, it's tempting to reach for quick fixes, especially ones marketed as natural. Natural, however, does not automatically mean safe, effective, or appropriate after a stroke. Let's look at 3 commonly discussed substances with a clear, cautious lens: L-arginine and L-citrulline. These amino acids help the body produce nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes blood vessels and supports blood flow. That mechanism explains why people discuss them for mild erectile difficulties. What's real? Some studies have shown modest improvements in specific settings. What's not helpful? Treating them like cure-alls for complex post-stroke changes that involve nerves, muscles, mood, and medication interactions. Even if a compound helps blood flow in theory, the whole picture matters. Other conditions, prescription drugs, and timing in recovery. Panax ginseng, often promoted for libido and erectile function. Ginseng may influence nitric oxide pathways and has antioxidant properties. The caution: ginseng can interact with several medications that stroke survivors commonly take, including drugs for blood pressure and drugs that affect clotting. Those interactions can raise safety concerns. Any discussion of ginseng belongs in the exam room with your clinician. Product label in hand. Ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo is marketed for cognitive support and circulation. Some extend those claims to sexual function. The caution: ginkgo can interact with blood thinning and antiplatelet medications, potentially heightening bleeding risk. For people on anticoagulants after a stroke, that risk is not theoretical, it can be dangerous. Bottom line: mechanisms may sound appealing, but mechanisms aren't medical clearance. For stroke survivors, the intersection of supplements with prescription medications is where most of the danger lives. If you're curious about a product, involve your clinician early. Bring the exact brand and ingredient list. Ginseng blend isn't enough. Part 3. The hidden risks many people miss. Michel's turning point came when his doctor, Dr. Chen, connected the dots plainly. The biggest risk for stroke survivors isn't whether an herb might help, it's whether it interacts with their prescription regimen. 1. Drug supplement interactions. Imagine adding a supplement with blood-thinning effects when you already take an anticoagulant, for example, warfarin, or an antiplatelet medicine. That stack can tip bleeding risk from manageable to dangerous. Some herbs also alter blood pressure, which can undermine careful medical management. Others can change how the liver processes drugs, nudging levels too high or too low. None of this is visible on the outside, it's chemistry unfolding quietly. 2. Quality and labeling. The supplement marketplace is broad and inconsistently regulated. Labels may not match contents. Dosages can vary. Proprietary blends can hide relevant information. Independent testing sometimes finds undeclared pharmaceuticals or contaminants. For someone with a recent stroke, where stability matters, that uncertainty alone is a serious consideration. 3. Side effects that matter more after stroke. Headaches, dizziness, digestive upset, palpitations, or allergic reactions may sound minor in an online review. For a stroke survivor with balance challenges, dizziness can mean a fall. For someone with blood pressure targets, a mild stimulant effect can be a setback. Risk isn't just about statistics, it's about your vulnerability in the moment. Dr. Chen's counsel to Michel and Sarah was direct: the potential harm, given Michel's history and medications, outweighed any unproven benefit. That firm boundary didn't shut down their hope, it rerouted it toward safer, more effective avenues. Part 4. Rebuilding connection. From pressure to pleasure. Michel and Sarah reframed intimacy as a set of skills they could practice, not a single act they had to achieve. That shift allowed them to explore, iterate, and celebrate small wins. Map your energy, not your ideals. Stroke recovery often brings fluctuating energy. Instead of asking, "Are we ready yet?" ask, "When do we usually feel our best?" Many couples find late morning or early evening windows. Protect those windows for closeness, whether that means a quiet talk, gentle touch, or sexual activity. On low-energy days, pick the smallest possible step, for example, a 5-minute cuddle. Consistency beats intensity. Sensate-focus. Touch without the finish line. Borrowed from sex therapy, sensate-focus exercises remove performance from the equation. Agree on a short window, 10 to 15 minutes. One partner touches the other's shoulders. back, or arms with the sole goal of noticing sensation, temperature, texture, pressure, noticing what feels pleasant without escalating. Then switch roles another day. By decoupling touch from goals, you retrain the nervous system to expect calm, curiosity, and comfort. Adapt positions to reduce strain. Positions that minimize exertion and support vulnerable joints can lower anxiety. Many couples do well with side lying with pillows for back or knee support, reclined, supported seating where one partner can remain mostly stationary, supported, spooning, to limit weight bearing. Use cushions to stabilize hips or shoulders. If spasticity or limited range of motion is present, a physical or occupational therapist can suggest safe modifications. Comfort first is not less romantic, it's smart intimacy. Keep the nervous system on your side. Arousal and anxiety share physiology. Slow the pace to keep the amygdala calm. Extend the warm-up, more time talking, laughing, or touching over clothes. Try a brief breathing cue together. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Repeat 5 times before progressing. Reduce environmental stressors, dim lights. Silence phone notifications. Keep the room warm. Date nights with zero performance clause. Schedule time together that might include sexual activity but doesn't require it. A shared bath, a quiet meal, a walk, or music and a blanket fort. These are not consolation prizes. They are the soil where desire grows back. Predictability, safety, and play. The words that help most. Let's discover, instead of, let's fix. Discovery invites collaboration. Fixing invites judgment. This is enough for today. Permission to stop preserves curiosity for next time. What felt good just now? Post-game reflections build a map you can actually use. Michel later told Sarah, "My body is different now. But I feel closer to you than before. I don't worry about failing anymore. I feel like we're on the same team." Part 5. A clinician-guided, whole-person plan. A satisfying, safe recovery doesn't hinge on a single product. It's built like a house, with a foundation, pillars, and rooms filled by the two of you. Foundation. Medical partnership. Bring questions and labels. If you're considering any supplement, bring the exact product to your clinician. Ask about interactions with your blood thinners, blood pressure meds, cholesterol drugs, diabetes medicines, and anything else you take. Ask about timing. Even safe treatments can be unsafe at the wrong time. Where are you in recovery? How stable are your numbers? Are there upcoming medication adjustments? Review side effects. If you've noticed changes in arousal, dryness, erectile firmness, or orgasm timing after a medication change, tell your clinician. Sometimes adjustments can ease the burden. Pillars. Lifestyle choices with outsized payoff. Nutrition from whole foods. A plate rich in vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats supports vascular health. The very thing intimacy depends on, without the unpredictability of concentrated pills. Hydration matters too. Movement as prescribed, gentle, clinician-cleared activity improves energy, sleep, and mood, the trifecta of desire. It can be chair exercises, short walks, or structured therapy homework. Sleep protection. Sleep isn't time off, it's neurological housekeeping. Protected like a scheduled medication. Alcohol and tobacco. Alcohol can interfere with arousal and medications. Tobacco harms blood flow. Your clinician can help with realistic reduction plans. Rooms. Specialized support when you need it. Pelvic floor physical therapy. For issues like pain, tension, or difficulty coordinating pelvic muscles. A pelvic PT can be transformative. Occupational therapy, OT, can help you position safely, conserve energy, and use supports that reduce strain. Mental health care. Anxiety, grief, and depression are common after stroke. Addressing them is not off topic, it's vital for intimacy. Sex therapy or couples counseling. A trained therapist can guide exercises like sensate-focus and help you navigate conversations that feel too charged to manage alone. Be a skeptic, in the best way. Watch for red flags. Instant results. miracle cure, clinically proven, without credible evidence. Or, works for everyone. Real recovery is a process. What works, works gradually, with guidance, and integrates with your prescribed plan. Putting it all together. A week in the life. To make these principles tangible, here's how Michel and Sarah structure a typical week. Use it as inspiration. Adjust for your energy, appointments, and routines. Sunday. Planning check-in, 15 minutes. They review the calendar, identifying low-stress windows for intimacy. They select 2 nights for possible sensual time, no pressure, and 2 mornings for short cuddle rituals. They decide on 2 simple meals they can cook together, keeping nutrition steady without marathon prep. Monday. Micro ritual number 1. After dinner, they sit close and hold hands for 5 minutes. Phones out of reach. Sarah asks, "What part of today felt easiest?" Michel answers. They switch roles. They end with a hug and a shared breath, in for 4. Out for 6. 5 times. Tuesday. Sensate-focus A. 10 to 15 minutes. Sarah explores Michel's shoulders, arms, and back with lotion, asking him to simply say, warmer, cooler, lighter, or more. No goal beyond noticing. They stop while it still feels good. Wednesday. Energy-friendly date. A short walk before sunset. Then tea on the couch. If fatigue is high, they skip the walk and watch something funny. Laughter isn't a detour, it's fuel. Thursday. Sensate-focus B. They reverse roles. Michel guides pressure with the same 4 words. If arousal arises, they note it without obligation. Permission to pause keeps the nervous system cooperative. Friday. Supported intimacy. Using pillows. They try a side-lying position with the rule, if either feels strain or worry. They adjust or stop. Pleasure is the metric, strain is the signal. Saturday. Debrief and gratitude, 5 minutes. What worked? What should we try differently? They each share one appreciation unrelated to intimacy. Thank you for setting up the meds. I loved your joke at breakfast. This protects the relationship from becoming a rehab project. This rhythm builds confidence. Some weeks are quieter, some are more adventurous. Progress is not linear, but the bond grows steadier. Practical checklists you can use today. Before any new supplement, what exact product is this? Brand. Dose. Ingredient list. Which of my medications could interact with it? Anticoagulants, antiplatelets, blood pressure meds, diabetes meds, etc. What side effects would tell me to stop and call? Is now, given my recovery stage, an appropriate time to consider any new add-on? Before intimate time, have we chosen a low-stress window? Do we have enough pillows, supports to reduce strain? What's our minimum win if fatigue hits, for example? 5-minute cuddle. What's our end-of-night check-in question? What felt good? When to contact your clinician? New or worsening neurological symptoms? Sudden severe headache, chest pain, or shortness of breath? Seek urgent medical attention. Persistent dizziness, palpitations, unusual bruising, or bleeding? Especially relevant if any supplement experimentation slipped in. Noticeable changes in sexual function that began shortly after a medication change. Bring this up. Alternatives may exist. A note about prescribed sexual health medications. You may hear about prescription treatments for erectile dysfunction or arousal difficulties. These medications can be helpful for some people when they are medically appropriate and when they don't conflict with other drugs, for example. Certain combinations with nitrates can be dangerous. The only safe path here is the straightforward one. Talk to your clinician. They can decide if such medications fit your recovery plan. At what dose, and with what precautions. What success really looks like. Success after a stroke rarely looks like a movie montage. It looks like 2 people lowering their shoulders, telling the truth about what they fear and want, and then taking one small step together. It looks like Michel and Sarah choosing curiosity over pressure, comfort over strain, and partnership over performance. It looks like skipping a plan on a bad day without calling it failure, and celebrating a 5-minute win on a good one. The through line is safety. Your future intimacy depends most on protecting the health you fought for, managing blood pressure, taking medications correctly, showing up to follow-ups, nourishing your body, and avoiding unvetted shortcuts. Nature offers many beautiful tools. But natural isn't a synonym for safe. Especially after a stroke, medical guidance is your North Star. Final thoughts and encouragement. If you've felt alone in this, you're not. Millions of couples wrestle with the very questions you're asking. Why does desire feel different? How do we restart? What if we try and it's awkward? The awkwardness melts faster than you think when you replace pressure with play. When you replace silence with gentle words. And when you replace miracle claims with practical, clinician-guided steps. Understand the medical realities that shape desire and function after stroke. Treat supplements with caution and only under professional guidance. Rebuild connection with small, repeatable rituals that feel safe and kind. Use the expertise around you, therapy, rehab, and medical care, without shame. Measure progress by comfort, closeness, and joy, not by any single act or result. From all of us at Golden Wellness Guide, remember, you and your partner are not rebuilding what was. You're creating something new, often more honest, more resilient, and more deeply attuned. With patience, knowledge, and expert support, a fulfilling intimate life is not just possible, it's well within reach. If this guide helped you or someone you love, please like and share it. Subscribe to Golden Wellness Guide for more science-grounded health content. And feel free to leave your questions or experiences in the comments. Your voice helps others feel seen. And your journey can light the way for someone just starting out. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next episode on Golden Wellness Guide.